I'm Puerto Rican and was born in Puerto Rico and have been always curious, but especially in the last couple years, about our spirituality and our music and our language.
She quietly serenades from her seat before the main event. A Taino council representing the indigenous Taino people from Puerto Rico has traveled to the museum to share what's called an areto.
It is an indigenous ceremony that's from Puerto Rico, and it is all about celebrating the Taino culture.
Overall, Spanish influence in Puerto Rico is the dominant influence on the island, culturally and genetically. According to DNA studies, the average Puerto Rican has 65 to 70% of European DNA, and most of that comes from Spain.
You know, Puerto Rico, we're Indians or indigenous or Taino or Arawak. No. Because what we're doing there is we are actually erasing the native communities in that particular island. Meanwhile, the reality is that a larger percentage of people in Puerto Rico are actually not native. They're not indigenous. A lot of them are actually European descent. And so when we claim Puerto Rico, we're Indians.
They're here. Target spotted. Moving in.
Not today.
Stop! FBI!
Adapt and predict. It's the beauty of prime sequences. They just keep you humble.
Knock, knock. Come in. Mr. Furious? Yeah? I'm Officer Ramos. You're under arrest for being too smart.
For what now?
You rerouted every light to city.
Yeah.
You're under arrest for excessive intelligence. Step away from the mic.
Wait, what? That's
it is
not
when
a
everyone
thing.
in the comments can't keep up.
Okay. Freedom. Home Sweet Studio.
Mic check. And we're live. I told you, nothing can keep me off this mic.
But especially in the last couple years, about our spirituality and our music and our language.
All right, so this is interesting. She's curious about her language, her spirituality. Your language isn't Taino. Your language is Spanish, okay? You can't just forget about everything that you are, right? Everything, your whole history, that's what you are. You can't just choose what you are. You can't just choose like one thing. I mean, I think that's interesting. Like, 65 to 85% of most Puerto Ricans are European. I mean, it's just, you can't just choose. My father's Lithuanian, and my mother's father is Portuguese, and her mother is Polish. I can't just be like, you know what, I'm Polish. That's it. You know, or I'm Portuguese. I mean, I am what I am. That's it. You are what you are. I mean, you can just do it. You can just say that, but it's not true. All right. And also, what is blood? Okay. Because I don't know if blood is your history. That's it. Doesn't make you what you are. What you do and where you are now, that's what you are, okay? And it kind of shocked me once. I went to a 50th anniversary party for my aunt and uncle on my mother's side, the Portuguese side. My grandfather passed, but his brothers were still alive. And I was talking about maybe a Benfica game. That's a soccer team in Portugal. And they were like, what are you talking about? What? And I said, what do you mean? Aren't you guys, we're Portuguese, right? And they're like, we're not Portuguese, we're Brazilian. I was like, what? I grew up thinking we're Portuguese. And they're like, no. They're like, we were born and raised in Brazil. Like, our parents were Portuguese. They moved to Brazil. That's where we were born and raised. And then we moved here. They're like, but we didn't even know anything. We never spent a day in Portugal. They're like, so we're Brazilian. So in their minds, they were Brazilian because that's where they lived. That's where they grew up. It wasn't their blood. It's where they spent their time and their life and their culture, right? So I had a debate, not an argument. It was a funny thing with a friend of mine. He's Italian. He was born here. His parents are from Italy. And I had an argument with him. I told him, I said, I think, because he in the World Cup, I'm like, you should be rooting for the U.S., not Italy. What's the matter with you? He's like, I root for Italy. I says, you don't understand. You're American. Like, you were born here. He's like, yeah, my parents are Italian. My whole family's Italian. I'm like, all right. But they're really not anymore. Not anymore. They're American now. They left. It's over. All right? I said to him, I said, Kobe Bryant is more Italian than you are. He looked at me in shock. I said, yeah, that's right. Kobe Bryant's more Italian than you. He said, how is that possible? He said, it's in my blood. I said, it doesn't matter. I said, he moved there. His father played basketball in Italy. So Kobe Bryant grew up there. I don't know, maybe he was there from when he was, 5 to 14 or something, whatever. 15, maybe even more than that. I don't know, 10-something years he spent over there. As a little kid, he grew up there. He went to school there, went to church there, spoke the language, ate the food there, went out to restaurants there, went to the beach, whatever. He did everything over there. He lived it, okay? I said, he's more Italian than you. You can't. He said, yeah, but it's in my blood. I said, it doesn't matter. I said, blood doesn't matter because then what makes us American? Okay? And nobody's American then. Nobody's American. Because there's no blood doesn't mean anything anymore. It's where you are and what you do. And you can't even say, the Native Americans, they're the real, they came from somewhere else too, okay? You could look that up. They came over from the land bridge, the ice bridge, or from Asia 10,000 years ago. Supposedly. Everybody came from somewhere else, okay? All right? So the blood is just your history. And, at least in this country, we got to start thinking like that because things are falling apart over here with everything. And also, when I say nobody would be American if we just thought about blood. Nobody would be Puerto Rican either. Because that's what they are too. It's a mix. It's a mix. Right? But people just seem to want to pick. Oh, I'm just going to pick this. This is what I am. It's going to be this piece of me. Well, sorry, it's not, that's, you could do that, but people like me are just going to look at you and be like, I know you're a poser. I know it's all a bunch of BS. Or maybe you don't even realize it, but I do. And it's funny, I hear a lot about, they hate Columbus, right? Columbus was a terrorist. He went over there. Well, first of all, Columbus was, Italian, right? Wasn't Spanish. And he spent 5 months in Puerto Rico. He only spent 5 months over there before he went back to Spain. So I don't know how much colonizing and terrorizing he could have done to the Tainos in that island in 5 months, Then he went back to Spain. Then I don't know how many years later he came back, and that's when he established his first colony in Dominican Republic. And he was only there for 3 years. But, the people that don't like Columbus and think he's a terrorist, they don't speak Italian, they speak Spanish. So you can claim that the Spaniards were the terrorists, right? And if they were, then why do you speak their language? I guess that's why you could say, yeah, that's why we want to be Taino. But you can't. You just can't. You are what you are, okay? It's okay. It's history. Nobody likes it. There's bad in everything, okay? The natives to all places weren't all these peaceful things like you hear. There's bad tribes killing every place had some bad things. Whether you like it or not, you're all part of some bad history. And you just grow from it and you move on. And we all grow from it, okay? You can't just pick and choose like, okay, this part of me was bad, this part of me was good. I'm only going to be this part. You're part of the bad stuff. Everybody has that stuff, okay? But that's what makes you who you are. That's what makes us all who we are. And then we can move on, all right? And that's just the way it goes.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment on anything you like or didn't like.